Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Mike Beer, the DRF Bets Race of the Day for Thursday, June the 7th, race number 8 at beautiful Belmont Park. It's the Grade 3 Wonder Again Stakes, and you can play it with a DRF Bets account. You can join all the Belmont Stakes action, all the Belmont Racing Festival action this week with free cash. Learn more at drf.com/bet. Here are the field of 3-year-old fillies getting set to contest the Wonder Again Stakes. Prep race for the Belmont Oaks. You can access free Formulator past performances on the Race of the Day event page at drf.com. Download them, handicap along with us as we take the field in post-position order. But Mike, we're expecting a pretty key scratch in here. The 4 Animosity, who was expected to be the pace setter, she might stay in Southern California for a spot in a week or two, and that could really change the dynamics of this race.
Yeah, it definitely could. She looked like she was in a little tough here. She looks like a pretty good horse to me. Won each of her first 2 career starts, and I like the way she won both of them. Either way, it was going to be a tough spot for her, and taking her pace out of the race, it does change things a little bit.
Chad Brown only has 3 in here. A little disappointed in Chad. Only 30% of the field in the Grade 3 Wonder Again Stakes. And we'll begin with one of his runners, that being the number 1 Alti. And you and I have both kind of liked what we've seen from Alti. I like to race in the Florida Oaks in her first start of the year, her first start for Chad. What happened last time out in the Edgewood? That was a race where the pace kind of quickened, and you would have thought that maybe this filly would have had a little bit more in the lane. All in all, though, it was a good effort. What do you think about her stretching out?
Yeah, what happened to her last time? She got outkicked last time. I think that was basically all there was to it. You're right, that pace got heated up in front of her. She basically came into the upper stretch. She was right alongside the winner there, Toinette, down to about the 8th pole, and she just got outkicked by that horse. She still raced on to the end. She went to a wrong lead late. I'm a little worried about 9 furlongs for her, and I'm especially worried about it for her with her running style, because on this turf course, and she will be able to save ground in the early stage of the race, that's a good thing for her, but early position is really important in these 9 furlong races on the inner turf, so she's going to need to work out, I think, a perfect trip to win here. I still think she's pretty good, though.
Chad also has the 2 Mighty Scarlet, kind of a questionable starter, according to Dave Grenning's Race Advance, but this horse will handle the 9 furlongs no problem, has more tactical speed than Alti. Yeah. What she lacks is experience. This will be her first start against winners off what I thought was a solid maiden win at Keeneland.
I did too. I thought she ran well last time. She got a really good trip in there. She was a little bit keen early in that race, I thought, but all in all, she settled into a nice trip, and she was just easily best in that race. This is a huge step up in class for her.
European Invader number 3, Armoricane, adds Lasix and is getting off some real testing ground in France. And I think it's worth noting that this one's maiden win came over firm ground overseas. And a lot of times these European horses come here for 1 or 2 reasons. 1, it's Lasix because they bleed. 2, they really want the firm turf that they can't get over there. Armoricane's going to get both for a pretty sharp trainer overseas. The 5th place finisher of that last race came back to run 3rd in the 1,000 Guineas in France, so I think it was a good race. I'm just not sure where she is overall from a class standpoint, because this looks like a tough edition of the Wonder Again.
We'll find out. I actually like her a little bit. I think she has a real chance in this race. There are 2 things that I really like about her. First of all 4 of her starts as a 2-year-old, she ran really well in all of those races, and she got the stakes win against Colts in her final start as a 2-year-old. She has speed. Every one of her races, she is either right up on the pace, and they spent a lot of time making sure she didn't actually go right to the front in some of her races, but she has speed, and she just goes forward in her races. I watched her first start back off the layoff last time, and I think either she bled. It could have been the ground. The ground was right, but she might. I mean, she was on the lead as they turned into the straight in that race, and she just stopped like something went wrong with her. Maybe that's why she's here, to get the Lasix. She's got speed. It really plays in these 9 furlong races on the inner turf. If you can get forward and save ground, she should be able to do that in here. I'm going to use this horse.
Let's take a look real quick at the Timeform US pace projector before we get to a Chad Brown formulator fact. Now again, check Timeform US after scratches are made official, because they will change the pace projector. We're expecting Animosity to scratch. That would leave Chad's number 5 Significant Form on the lead, where she was last time out in her first start of the year. She was able to set an easy pace against an overmatched field, but I like the way that Arad Ortiz kept her to her task in the stretch. I think she got a lot out of that race, enough so that she'll be ready for this spot in her second start of the year. She really did not run badly at all in any race last year. The Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf, A, she was in against the really good rushing fall. B, that trip didn't have to work out.
Yeah, no, I agree with all that stuff. I mean, I thought she was really good last year. I really liked her. And, you know, she was in the shadow of rushing fall a little bit just because that horse refused to lose races. I thought her Breeders' Cup effort was maybe one of the more underrated performances that entire weekend. She had a tough trip in that race. She still ran well. obviously, I mean, she just took it to another level first time off the layup. Yeah, the field was probably overmatched, and yeah, she had a real easy trip on the lead, but that was a pretty impressive display in there. That was a huge step forward for her. I do think she's the horse to beat in here. The 9 furlongs, I think she's going to get it, Dan. I know it's a little bit of a question. We saw the Chad 3-year-old analyze it. Maybe he didn't handle the 9 furlongs last weekend. So she's got to do it in here. I think she's going to handle it, though.
If she does get an easy lead, it'll help her navigate it all the more.
That's true.
Let's go back to Alti's Formulator fact. This is for Chad and showing Chad's dominance in graded stakes races at Belmont. 3-year-old, second off the layoff, turf route graded stakes. 30% winner is a $2.52 ROI. Maybe that helps Alti. I think a sleeper in here at a price is the 6. Andina Del Sur for Tommy Albertrani. He's yet to really run that fast race, which is somewhat concerning, but you liked her a little bit in the Florida Oaks 2 starts back, and she took advantage of in a good race.
Yeah.
She beat Alti. That horse, good things take time, has come back to now run 3rd in the Appalachian with an 84, the Penn Oaks with an 88, and the last race, they took a dirt experiment to try to get her to the Kentucky Oaks. It didn't work out. Do you see Andina Del Sur as a win candidate or more a horse that you fool around with in the bottom of tries?
Yeah, I'm going to use her underneath in this race. I still like her. I think she's good. I still have a little bit in the back of my mind that she doesn't really want to go this far, but she's probably just going to sit it out in this race and then just make one run. I thought she ran well in the Florida Oaks. I also felt like that race set up really well for her. I think that was a big closer's race, and she got the right run in there, got the jump on Alti, held her off to the finish. I still like her, Dan. I just don't like her that much in this race.
The 7 Spinning Top is getting a major class quiz. She won a stakes race for Ohio Breds last time out at 37-1, and you can argue that the runner-up and next out winner went a little bit too fast on the lead that day.
Yeah, I would say that race set up pretty well for her. She was a maiden, and she got it done in a little bit of a stakes race. This is a way tougher stakes race.
You and I are big fans of the 8. Daddy is a Legend. First, the bad news for Daddy is a Legend. Formulator fact for a very good trainer, George Weaver. Past 5 years, 3-year-old turf horses removing blinkers, 0 for 23. Good news for Daddy is a Legend. This is a very good horse. She won her maiden at Keeneland, like a very good horse at this distance. I love the way she won the Jimmy Durante, and in her last 2 races, she's just had impossible trips or scenarios.
Yeah, hasn't she just been unlucky in her first 2 starts? She didn't win either one of them. She's really taken a step forward, though, as a 3-year-old, as far as I can tell. She ran great both times, and she just couldn't get it done. You know, the Formulator fact you put up there, I get it. It's not that great a move for Weaver. I actually feel like it could help this horse because it feels like maybe, I don't even think she got too keen last time. I shouldn't say that. I feel like Irad Ortiz made a decision in that race. Rushing Fall went to take over the lead, and he said, you know what, that's the horse to beat. I'm going with her, and he raced her, and it didn't quite work out, but she ran great in that race. Maybe she settles a little bit better this time. I like that she has the win over 1 1/8. I loved her last 2 races as the 2-year-old last year. I'm giving her one more chance in here, especially, you know, that morning line has significant form, a pretty heavy favorite. If they're going to bet the race that way, I'm giving this horse one more chance.
You're absolutely right about the Edgewood and that she just ran into the teeth of that very, very fast pace, and she hung on game lead to finish 3rd. The race before that, she was off 3 lengths slow. Terrible. She was 5 wide turning into the stretch. She got within a half length of Rushing Fall, maybe even poked ahead in front to the 16th pole, and then she understandably hung all off of the layoff. She's dangerous. We'll see how she settles without the blinkers. La Signare is the number 9 in here, and this horse ran okay against Twinette, and who knew that Twinette would come back and take advantage of that big pace to win the Edgewood with the 91. That's 3 in a row for Twinette right now. That was a good performance for a lightly raced daughter of Brian Lynch, and a couple of horses that come out of that race to win.
I like all 3 of her races. I mean, she ran well in that race against Twinette last time. They had to take her back, a little bit of early traffic for her, I thought. They had to take her back out of that traffic. Once she got a clean run and she came clear in the stretch, she made a big run at Twinette. Just failed to run her down in there. Her first 2 races in France, she ran well in both of those as well. She's got some upside, this horse.
Well, Camilla Princess, the number 10's taken a big step up in class and might have benefited from a really good solid pace to win a stakes race at Gulfstream last time out. There's no denying she likes to win races. She's 4 for 5 on the turf at Gulfstream, albeit against weaker competition. If you believe the fig from that last race, perhaps a pace-aided fig,
maybe
she fits perhaps at a big price underneath.
Listen, I don't have any knocks on this horse, and maybe this is just going to be too tough a spot for her. She has a pretty bad running style for this distance on this course, especially from the outside post. I mean, she's going to need everything to fall into place for her to beat a field like this, I think, but there's an argument to be made that she should be undefeated on the turf right now. The only loss was a brutal trip and ride. I mean, she was best in that race and didn't get it done. So you're talking about a horse who could easily be 5 for 5 on the grass coming here. She keeps getting better. She runs through the stretch every time. I'm not way against this horse.
Let's take a look at our top selections for the Grade 3 Wonder Again Stakes. You're going with Daddy as a Legend, the number 8, hoping that maybe she gets some luck this time around. She's been very, very unlucky. She's your top selection. You're going 8, 5, 3, and 1. I think significant form with that big scratch can get out to an easy lead. I liked her last year in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Fillies Turf. Who knew Rushing Fall was that good, and the trip didn't help. Unfortunately, there's no price. Daddy is a Legend to me looks like the one to beat. Again, 8, 5, 3, 1 for Mike, 5, 8, 10, 1 for me in the Grade 3 Wonder Again Stakes, one of 3 stakes races at Belmont on Thursday as we kick off the Belmont Stakes Racing Festival. And you can bet all of that action leading up to Justify's historic run for the Triple Crown on Saturday with your very own DRF Bets account. Learn more at drf.com/bet. You get a little bit of free cash as well. Approximate post time for the DRF Bets Thursday Race of the Day, the Grade 3 Wonder Again, 5:48 Eastern. Best of luck.